Okay, fellas, we've got our nice jade, is that what you would call it? And of course the emerald isle is, or air, it's basically one big giant peapod really from end to end in a way. It's not strictly true, but you know, that's what they say, Ireland's just one big peapod. And they always talk about the emerald isle because the green on the island, all the green, is supposed to have that strange look to it, which I assume is a bit like the look of those wild fly traps. They've got that sort of strange, almost glowing green, almost that sort of glowing green you get on the shop books as you're walking them out of the shops to the car. And once you pop them up, they seem to disappear. It seems to disappear overnight. The look seems to just disappear. But maybe we can put the look back, and maybe we can make it even better. We can rebuild it. We can make it better, stronger, faster, more colourful than ever before. To paraphrase or paraquote TV series or sitcoms from the 70s. Okay, so I'll fill that up and make sure that it all goes tickety-boo sort of thing. So it's got our organism there, in there, sitting there, and we'll see how long. Maybe it won't pink, maybe the copper will be detrimental, maybe it'll take a long time to pink, maybe it will just go straight to green, but it'll take a long time to get there sort of thing. And maybe the green will be somewhere along the lines of this strange green. In other words, the plant is being filled up by cyanophyta in a way. Well, they say cyanophyta can fix nitrogen from the atmosphere, but are they actually doing it themselves, or is it some sort of physico-chemical reaction with the different form of calcium being able to pull it out of the atmosphere, fix it on the spot sort of thing? I don't know. We had this problem before. Anyway, we'll see how we go. But anyway, I'll take this over here and probably just sit it next door to the same one, and we'll see. That's in another 2 days. I expect that one to be pink. So yeah, and I'll probably now, after a cup of coffee, set up another one of these, but with 1/10 dilute nitric acid. In other words, the pH should then be 1 pH degree higher up. Should be 2. Should be 3 instead of 2, and hopefully the organism will grow then. Maybe slowly, because as I said, they don't seem like they don't like salinity too much, but they can cope with it with potassium emendation, and they don't like on the same par with that. They don't like phenolics that are twice the level sort of thing. And maybe the potassium emendation or insect predation helps with that as well. Anyway, so let's go spot colouring in. That one there is looking quite nice, that new leaf coming out there. And this one just seems to be getting better and bigger, so I don't know, it might actually get very close to matching the size of one of the original ones now. So that'll be the second leaf open since I bought it. I think it's actually, is it 6 weeks today, or is it 7 weeks today? It's Monday today, so I think I did do, no I didn't do it, when did I think I potted it up on a Tuesday, because then we had the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of 42, 41 and 40 degree days. This one is starting to pink now, and I don't know if you can see the leaves are pinking, and there's some roots down there. I don't know if you can pick it up, probably only pick it up at night time, but this one sort of, so the manganese dioxide does sort of get in the way, but after a while that one's starting to do things. I think the cape is going to eventually take off, but I've found out what the problem is, fellas. One of the roots, or one of the two major roots, I've somehow got potted out there. I don't know how that happened. So, and of course this one here, you see, with the manganese dioxide, it's still got that sort of problem, but I know that will disappear eventually, because I'm assuming what's happening is it's making the problem worse, because the manganese dioxide is absorbing the actual calcium in there, probably in the form we want, and slowly it will build up on the manganese dioxide, and eventually you'll overcome that problem, and you'll see the change. So really, the manganese dioxide is not the solution; it's the special form of calcium. But in a way, it's a way of capturing naturally capturing the special form of calcium. But of course, we're trying to make it. So we can maybe jettison the idea of the manganese dioxide altogether and just make the special form of calcium, and see whether there's some relationship with it with copper. So this should pink. It looks like it's going to. It's had 48 hours. In 4 days, yeah, we'll see. But anyway, we'll see how we go and go from there. We can only try, fellas. But there's this one in here. Oh, some of these are starting to make a move in here. Very slow. But if we have success with the calcium, I might try it on there. And if we don't kill it and suddenly we get a reaction, well, I think that's the end of the journey, basically, fellas. I think that is. Basically, we've solved the copper and calcium problem all in one go. I think that's what it is. It's basically a different form of calcium, and probably attached to that is copper in its reduced form, so it's not poisonous. They can cope with it, sort of thing, and maybe it travels around with the calcium inside the plant. Maybe it goes to every cell in the plant, and so they get a dose of the right form of calcium and also a bit of copper, because copper is the element that puts the makes the iron enzyme that puts the magnesium atom into the centre of the plant. So along that line, so you can see why there could be a difference in colour and why there could be a dependence on manganese dioxide, the so-called second classical form of iron. When they were looking for the micronutrients around the time of Wolfart and Hellriegel, there seemed to be like two forms of iron out there, thinking, oh, it's sort of like iron. We seem to, plants seem to do, it just turned out to be manganese, by the way. And I think they discovered copper from is it telegraph lines or telephone lines over farmers' fields or something? So maybe you want to compare that to our power lines, you know, golf courses, power lines, and what are the... I used to say in the past, there's always three things that CP seem to be associated with: golf courses, power lines, and there was one other I used to say. I can't remember what it is, but if you want to go back to my old videos, you might be able to pick it up, because some of those old videos have me talking about stuff, you know, 10, 15, maybe 20 years ago, when my memory was a little bit better than it is today, and wasn't so old. So, but I think we're getting to the tip of the triangle, fellas. You know, was it the triangle was the basic form of the fractal? Am I right? You know, turning order chaos into order, 99. Or maybe we're going the other way. We're going to turn order into chaos, because I think when it breaks, when the CPU revolution starts, there's going to be a lot of disgruntled people out there. People will be making money for jam with one side of the coin, and the other people have been wasting their lives for 25, 30, 40, 50 years, you know, being abused and taken advantage of by the people on the other side of the coin, I think. So, but I think eventually it'll all work out and everyone will be happy, because the plants will grow big, fast and colourful, and there'll be more colourful, grow faster than you've seen them in the wild before, and everything will be tickety-boo, and yeah, all the pens will come out, and yeah, start winning some prizes, I suppose, for all your efforts, you know, sticking to the scientific method and just ploughing on, you know, kick your nose to the grindstone and just keep going and going and going and going. And in fact, it wasn't looking for the in, it was the out that proved to be the deciding factor. The polystyrene was the out. We could sort things out using the polystyrene. And well, I suppose at the end of June we'll be able to determine what the in is by using the out, which is a strange way of doing it, but yeah, that's just the way it is, fellas. But at least now we've got a system where we can actually take shop boards and you can whip them up, put them in, stabilise them, even on the hottest days, with very little humidity, blah, blah, blah. And at least you can get going, and we're going to just slowly improve on this. I'm heading towards, I think, 7 parts of polystyrene to 5 parts perlite. You know, 7 litres of fine grated polystyrene to 5 litres of bagged perlite, intermediate grade perlite. So I think that's why I'm heading, fellas. You definitely do need the perlite with the poly. You just can't have the poly on its own. Okay. Okay, I think that's about it. Maybe just flick through a few more of these colourful wild shots of the plants with a strange green colour. We can quickly come across some. Yes, look at that one. Spot culling. Are we on spot culling? Yes, we are.